one artificial field will have the durability of 7 natural grass fields. Not only do you have that enhanced durability, but you're also saving on maintenance and water. You know, and we down here in the Southwest know that water is a precious resource. So today we're going to just talk a little bit about the system and how to maintain this investment that you've made in this synthetic sports field. So this particular product is what's called a blend. When we say blend, that means 2 different fibers. So you actually have a monofilament fiber and what's called a fibrillated fiber, which is a honeycomb pattern. The monofilament will be your aesthetics, your feel, and your ball interaction. And your fibrillated fiber is what's going to be your durability. So today we're going to walk through a couple of the maintenance practices to make sure that you get the most out of your investment here. And first and foremost is going to be artificial turf is not maintenance free, it is maintenance friendly. So that means for about every 12 to 24 hours of use of this field, you're going to want to budget about 1 hour of maintenance. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that every time somebody steps on the field that you have to run out there and brush it. Maintenance can be things like visual inspection. I think that is going to be pretty much your go-to, your bread and butter, if you will. Because by visually inspecting the field on a regular basis, you're going to notice areas of high use, and you're also going to notice areas that could become problematic down the road. Now, as you can see, the main body of the field is going to be green, but then you have these lines, which are, some of them are tufted in and some of them are what's called inlaid. Inlaid mean it wasn't actually produced in the green itself, which means that, you know, Toby and his crew from Tucson Turf came along behind and they actually physically installed these lines themselves. They're installed with a very high-grade adhesive and seaming tape, very similar to how you would do carpet in your home. But at the same juncture, because that is installed by hand, it's not actually tufted into the fiber or the product itself. You're going to want to look at these particular areas. So for instance, the numbers that you see along the sideline, the center logo, you're going to look for corners to be wanting to come up, you know, or right around here. Now there is about 6 pounds of infill per square foot in this. It's almost a 50-50 ratio of ambient crumb rubber and 20-40 silica sand. Now, there may be areas as you walk over it, you go, oh, well, this feels a little bit high. There will be settling. You know, this field's been in the ground for less than 2 weeks. So there will be some settling. And also maintenance too, we'll be looking for monitoring the infill levels themselves. Ideally, you want about 3/4 of an inch of the fiber exposed. If less infill migrates out of it, because let's say, you know, you've got a Ronaldo out here and he wants to practice his corner kick from here, or whatever the case is, you will have infill migration from the constant impact of the surface with your foot or your elbow or whatever the case is. So if you start to notice that that infill level starts to look really low, what that means is that you're actually wearing more of the fiber than you should. Now these fibers are very highly UV rated. The US company that you bought this particular turf from has had installations in 70 countries around the world, including the Middle East, Australia, where we have much higher UV or K. Langley ratings than we do here in southern Arizona. So UV will not be an issue for you, but that still doesn't mean that you don't want to keep an eye on it. So let's go ahead and just walk out to the center logo. We're going to just talk a little bit about what I was referring to as far as, you know, monitoring of the inlays, and we'll just sit there and we'll talk about the maintenance practices themselves. First and foremost, though, gum and sunflower seeds are strictly forbidden. Gum will get on the turf fibers, it'll clump together, it'll be disgusting, unsightly, and sunflower seeds, once they get into the fibers themselves, the hooks on the shells just make them very difficult to remove. First and foremost, your best friend will be a leaf blower. Just make sure though that anything with a hot carburetor, you do not set directly on the synthetic fibers. It will melt them. They are rated to about 200 degrees Fahrenheit, but a carburetor will melt the fibers themselves. So, you know, upon that visual inspection, again, I was saying about a leaf blower, you can just look for debris. Now, we are fortunate that there's not a lot of trees around this particular area, but you may, you know, have some debris dropping out of the trees. just want to blow that off, you know, and it doesn't have to be, you never want to aim the leaf blower directly into the fibers itself because that will disperse the crumb rubber and silica sand infill. You always want to just do it across the top just to remove the debris off the actual playing surface itself. So let's take a walk out to the center logo and we'll take a peek out there.